Joel. It's
Hi.
so good to see you.
Good to
today.
see you, Bianca.
Hi. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
I know that we went over confidentiality, HIPAA, mandated reporting, all of that in our previous meeting, but I just wanted to ask you if you have any questions. You think you've got it, or do you want me to clarify on anything?
I think I'm okay. I think you did a good job explaining it last time, so I think I have a good understanding.
Right. Yeah, great. What brings you in today?
Well, I guess I just kind of had a a weird situation. It's been happening for a bit, but it kind of is, I guess, coming to a close, and it's not really the outcome I was hoping for. So that just happened this last couple of weeks, and it's just been really difficult trying to process all that, and yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for filling me in on this. Do you feel comfortable sharing a little bit more?
Yeah, so over last year, my family and I went to New York for Christmas and New Year's Eve. Sorry, I'm super thirsty. And we were gonna be there for New Year's Eve, so it's like, oh my gosh, I wanna look kind of fancy. So I started doing some online shopping, and I found this designer who created these really cool, flashy jackets, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love them. So I reached out, and I was like, hi, how much would it be? I would love one. And they were like, yep, totally could do it for you, and they quoted me the price. And so I sent them my measurements, and then I sent them the money, and they were like, okay, cool, it'll be here by November. November kind of rolled around, didn't really hear much, so I reached out at the beginning of November, and it was supposed to come towards the end. And I was just like, hey, just want to follow up, do you have any information? And they were like, oh, no, sorry. And then they said, okay, cool, we're actually getting it done soon, so we'll send you the invoice, what's your information? So I gave them my address and everything, and they never sent me anything. So I followed up a few more times, and long story short, they were like, oh, it's not done yet, but then they mentioned that the jacket was silver, and I had ordered it specifically in gold, and I had said that in my first ever interaction with them. And then with that, we were doing our thing, and I was talking to them, and I was like, no, I ordered it in gold, not silver. And they were like, no, it comes in silver. And I was like, no, but I asked for it in gold, and you said you could do that. And they were like, no, we didn't. And I was like, yes, I did. Or yes, you did. And so I sent them proof, and there was this whole back and forth of no, you didn't, yes, you did, no, you didn't, yes, you did. Finally, they were like, okay, cool, we'll make you the gold one, but it's gonna look a little different. And I was like, well, what does that mean? So I asked for clarity on it, to which I didn't receive any response, which is sucked. And then from there, I didn't hear anything, and I was like, are you sending this jacket or not? And they tried to quote me more money for it, and then from that more money, I was like, no, I already paid, you already quoted me. And then essentially they just kind of fell off the face of the earth. So I reached out and was like, I really would just like to know when this jacket is coming, what it's gonna look like, or I would like to know I would like my money back. And they were like, no refunds, we don't do refunds. And I was like, I didn't get a product. It's not like I'm unhappy with the product, I just didn't get anything. And so then we went back and forth again, and so finally I was like, okay, I'm gonna pursue legal matters if you don't refund me my money or send me this jacket. And they didn't do either, and I gave them 5 days, and I said on this day I will begin pursuing things. You have until then to reach out to me and let me know what the plan is. And so then from there I began pursuing legal matters. So I started with the Better Business Bureau, and they reached out to the business, to which they received no response. They reached out again, didn't receive a response. So essentially they just said they're gonna put a bad review on their website, which is super not helpful, but whatever. So then I started reaching out to the courts. This designer happens to live in New York. We clearly live here, so it's kind of difficult to pursue small claims courts that way. And so with that, I reached out to them, and I kind of got some ideas, and they said I could file a small claims lawsuit, but I would have to go there, or I'd have to have some kind of representation, which I don't really want to pay for. So I'm considering that. That's not an option, but it's not ideal. Then I reached out to Judge Judy, the show, and they actually called me and said they would do my case, but apparently they reached out to him, and he's just like not responding and fell off the face of the earth. So they won't do it anymore either, which is kind of a bummer. So essentially, I just kind of got scammed out of my money, and it's just hard. Like I feel, I think like I got scammed. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Sorry.
Do you mind if I ask a couple questions just to make sure that I got everything?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you felt like you got scammed. Sounds like you don't like being taken advantage of.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling, and it makes me feel, it just makes me feel like someone thinks that they're like better, that they can do this because they're in a position of power, and I don't like that.
When you say you feel scammed, you feel like you've been violated?
Yeah, I think so. I think like I felt like I tried to like have a business transaction, and I felt like my trust was violated, and I just like don't like being taken advantage of, you know. Sorry, I have this like really bad cough.
You're totally okay.
And also, I don't like how hard this process has been. Like, I had to pursue all of the legal matters, and then like none of them could really do anything.
Yeah, you wish that there was more help, or that it could have gone a little bit easier.
Yeah.
The situation.
I just feel like this shouldn't be that hard. Like, it's pretty cut and dry. Like, he stole my money essentially, and there's not really any way for me to get him back.
Yeah.
So, that's really hard. Sorry, I just don't know what's happening.
It's okay. Take as much time as you need.
And then, yeah, this whole thing, it kind of made me feel dumb, almost. I don't know.
Do you feel that you should have been more attentive and picked up on some of the things, like early red flags, possibly?
Yeah, I like told my roommates about it like before I bought it, before I bought the jacket, and then I was like, oh, like this, I think this would be a fun idea, and I think it'd look really cool, and they were like, I don't know, are you sure this guy's legit? And like, I guess I feel like I should have listened to them, but yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing and, letting me have a little bit more clarity
Of course.
in the situation here. I'm really sorry to hear that you went through that and you experienced that.
So yeah, that's just like where I'm at. It's been a hard situation.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate you giving me a little bit more insight and clarity to this. So it really sounds like you don't like being taken advantage of, and you wish that there had been more help,
Yeah.
and that the process could have been a little bit easier, and that you feel you've been violated, and that you should maybe have picked up on some of the early warning signs and been a little bit more attentive.
Yeah, and I think so. And I think I learned from this situation, unfortunately. And yes, it was like a medium to large amount of money, and I'm upset about it, but it's not the end of the world. So I think I've learned from this, and so I'm happy.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Of course.
And I hope that we could meet and maybe discuss things going forward from here.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you so much.
Of course.